You are listening to the Evolve Your Intimacy podcast with Dr. Stephanie, where it is my goal to educate, enlighten, and evolve your intimacy. You can find me at evolveyourintimacy.com to learn more about counseling, self-study courses, sex, and the retreats that we have to offer. This show contains discussions about relationships, intimacy, and sex, and is meant for those who are 18 years and older. Now, sit back, relax, listen up, and get ready to evolve your intimacy. Have you ever wondered where to find reliable and enriching information about the swinging lifestyle? How do educators, like the Miami Swingers, play a crucial role in providing guidance, sharing experiences, and fostering a greater understanding of consensual non-monogamy? If you're seeking answers, you've come to the right place. Get ready to expand your knowledge, challenge assumptions, and gain a deeper understanding into the educational aspects of the swinging lifestyle. Stay tuned. Before we get started, let me tell you all about the Top Waterproof Blanket, which now comes in 4 reversible colors because no one wants to sleep in the wet spot, and squirt is hot until it's not. So if you're fed up with sleeping in the wet spot or having to change your sheets every time you have sex, then you need the Top Waterproof Blanket. It's 100% waterproof and leak-proof, and it guarantees to keep your bed and mattress dry no matter how wet it gets. From messy massage oils, silicone lubes, and all sorts of sexy wetness, just throw it in the washer and dryer and it comes out looking brand new. And you don't even have to leave your house to get one. Simply go to Amazon and search Top Waterproof Blanket. That's T-O-P Waterproof Blanket, and order yours today. Great sex starts now. I am so excited to welcome today's special guest, Marco and Angel Renee. They're also known as the Miami Swingers. I am so thrilled to have you guys here today, and I must say that meeting you at Naughty in New Orleans was an absolute blast. It's amazing how chance encounters can lead to incredible connections, right? What really struck me about both of you was your genuine curiosity and interest during our educational summit that we attended together. I remember thinking, man, these guys are so new to the scene, but they're so engaged already. Little did I know that you were on the path to becoming accidental educators yourself. I was astonished to learn that Angel Renee pursued formal education and sex coaching to ensure that she was equipped to provide the highest quality and up-to-date information to your listeners. That level of dedication truly blew me away.
Yeah. Well, that tends to be Angel's format, right? Is if we're going to talk about something and not say this is just for entertainment, then she has this need to do it properly. Otherwise, she just won't do it. And anyway, that's one of the wonderful things about Angel Renee is that she does take it seriously.
I do take it.
I've never known someone taking hot wifing and swinging this serious. I mean, it's serious. Once she decides she's doing it, she's doing it. She's not playing it. She's 100% in or 100% out, right? Yes. What do you think?
It's true.
Isn't that true?
Yes, yes.
It's like a switch. It's either on or off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys complement each other so well, and I was very impressed by the way you work together, the way you play together, the way you interact with each other when I met you at Naughty in New Orleans, and even just kind of hearing your podcast and seeing some of the things that you do around swinging community. So how did you two meet? I would love to know that.
Angel Renee is going to do it because I can talk over her continuously.
I like your story.
I like your story.
I like the way you tell it.
You want me to start?
Yes, you start.
Okay, just so you know, a very important dynamic, so I don't apologize every 3 to 7 minutes, is I naturally talk over Angel Renee. It's just what we do. It's not me trying to be rude or domineering. It's just our... Right.
Well, this is a big reason we started the video podcast, Dr. Stephanie, too, is because I'm very, visual. I make faces and I interact differently where he is the talker. But once you get me on a subject, don't worry, you won't get me off. So tell everybody how we first met.
Okay, so I'm going to go right to the very beginning, if that's okay, because sometimes the apex of the beginning, the first 2 minutes of something is more important than the rest of it. So Angel Renee and I met online before video conferencing and talking was around. about 15, 16 years ago. And I employed at the time almost a couple of hundred females in my city. And so I didn't want to be publicly out dating. So I really just had a very obscure photograph of myself online that really didn't look like me, big glasses and kind of like ducking down. But I knew I needed to have an experience of talking to a female in a flirtatious way. And I couldn't do that in the city I lived in or around them because everybody knew me from billboards and stuff like that. Because we had a lot of billboards in the city and I was on the morning news for advertisements and stuff. So I went on plentyoffish.com way back then. And Angel Renee doesn't know how to use a computer. So
this is why I sympathized with you earlier.
so her daughter and helped her make this little profile.
Yeah,
she had been single for years and decided that she would like to interact with someone, but didn't know how to do it. So her daughter was like, "Oh, Mum, let's put you online on this website." So that happened, and I
wanted to be married. I didn't want to date.
And for the record, I was married for 15 years, never wanted to get divorced. So when I got divorced, I immediately wanted to be remarried. I didn't want to not be married. My genetics says marriage, so not being single in the world. So anyway, so I had this dilemma of how do I learn how to talk to a female for the first time again, and since 20 years of whatever marriage. So I saw a profile picture of her. She had this big floppy hat on. There was her one eye and a nose, and she had her hand in this little pool of water. And in her profile, it said, "I'm in a certain industry." And I was like, "Oh, I'm in that industry too." So perhaps instead of me dating this person, it would be a really good segue for me to be able to just talk to someone outside of regular business. So I emailed her, she emailed me back, then we texted on the old-fashioned phones where it had a keyboard on. And we texted. Yeah, you remember those?
Yeah.
What was it called?
Blueberries or
Blackberries. Yeah, so we did that so we never saw each other in person or a picture of each other for 3 months. We just talked. And that was kind of pretty cool. And so I said, let's go out on a date. It took another couple of months to go out on a date because we were several hundred miles away from each other, which is why I chose to talk to her because she wasn't local. And on our first date, we took a walk on the beach. And now my ex-wife told me that I needed sexual counseling and I needed help because of my sexual desires. Because I wanted,
you like sex.
Because I like sex. I'm super, super sexual. I'm a nudist and from childhood, and I need sex. I need it to be in my life. So when we went on this first date, we took a walk on a beach, a sunset walk on a beach after dinner. And Angel Renee told me about this threesome that she had just had with a friend of hers and a guy. So that sat in my mind. So we had this date. And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. I'm glad you had a good experience and you liked it." And we moved on to other subjects and we went on a second date and then a third date. On the first date, I told her I'd fallen in love with her and I was going to marry her because that was my intent. Anyway, so then the second date, third date, it was like 2 hours there, 2 hours back. And I realized that after our deep conversations that this was it. And so we moved in together that month. So it was month one we met, month one we moved in together. We started a life, got married within a year. It was about 3 years that I pondered this discussion of her having this threesome. And I said to her, "Would you be open to us playing with others or meeting others or going to environments with others to see how it feels?" And it took another 5 years of her thinking about it before she said yes. And I was patient and I pushed it and then backed off, pushed it, then backed off. But we had this discussion where I have a need and this need is really, really big. And she said, "Well, let's just explore." So we started to explore slowly, right?
Very slowly.
The
question was,
slowly.
how did we meet?
Anyway, on Plenty of Fish is how we met. So after 5 years of me asking and her declining, and me asking it like every 3 or 4 months, I would bring it up in we would be drinking too much or just had sex or about to have sex, and I would use it in sex play. How about a third? How about if we was in a playroom, in a club, stuff like that. And anyway, we had gone to the Ritz-Carlton, and we played this game where Angel went to the bar and I pretended to be somebody else. It was like a sex play. So I went down and met her at the bar and pretended to chat her up, and we were getting sexy. She was in a beautiful little sparkly black dress. I was in a suit, and a couple next to us heard us doing that. They happened to be swingers. So they said, hey, you guys have just met, and you're very attractive. Would you like to come to the hot tub with us? And we didn't know what their intentions were, right? So we said, yeah, why not? I mean, it's the Ritz-Carlton. It's a beautiful starry night, and we have champagne, and I had whiskey, but and so we walked down to the jacuzzi with our drinks. We all got naked and got into the hot tub, right? And
I'm trying to remember because it was the Ritz-Carlton, so we didn't get naked.
No, we did get naked because I had my finger in.
Oh, okay. I don't know her.
Yeah. Anyway, so it very quickly became obvious that they wanted to play. So we did for about 3 or 4 minutes. Angel freaked out, ran back to the room, and so I kind of quietly closed it up and said, thank you, that was a lot of fun, blah, blah, blah. Let's perhaps see you at the pool tomorrow. Went up to the room, and Angel Renee's freaking out. And the following day, we had a discussion, and she was like, I felt like I betrayed you. I felt like I broke my promise to you that I would be yours and love you forever and blah, blah, blah. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
And so we had this very simple conversation about it. And I was like, hey, don't worry. It's not a big deal. I actually enjoyed it. And we did that for about another year. And then one day we had a conversation, and she said, let's go to the club. No, they texted us or sent us a message by email and said, hey, listen, we enjoyed meeting you. We go to this club in Tampa, Florida. If you ever want to go there, let us know and we'll meet you there. And he was an attorney and she was something else. He was a very, very nice guy, actually.
Yeah,
and ironically, I had a lot in common with him because I had issues with the work that he did with lots of members of staff. So one day I said to her, let's go to that club. And I left it. And a few days later, she said, okay, I'm willing to try it. Remember?
Yeah.
So that was our beginning in the lifestyle. But it took a lot of patience and a lot of going slow and a lot of just allowing each of us to do it at the pace that the other one was going. So that's our beginning. You didn't say a word.
Question. Yes.
Say something.
I want to hear the question. I'm a question person. Give me a question. I'll answer.
Betrayal.
Well, two things.
Yeah.
One thing would be a whole show on itself, and I really don't talk about it publicly because an experience I had did not end well emotionally for anyone. Nothing bad happened. It was just a sad ending, and I'm a very emotional person. But also, I was raised very religious. We went to church 3 times a week. I mean, there's things I could tell you, maybe even on a different form where it was extreme. So I was brought up, you don't have sex before you're married. Sex is bad. It's wrong. You don't do it, period.
Wearing lipstick is a form of...
Oh, yeah. I parted my hair down the center, and I was told I looked like a sex bot. So this is how I was raised. But really, I'm a very sexual person. Like, I love it. It's I'm obsessed with it. It's my thing. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So
you're
I'm very
like,
open.
Out of 1 to 10, you're a 10.
I do sex work with people that have kinks and stuff like that, and I identify with it, I think, and I work through things with people very well because I love it. So I was hesitant for both of those 2 reasons, and I went slow, Dr. Stephanie. Like,
and you thought it was a betrayal. That was the big thing at the beginning.
Yeah, I did. I felt like I was betraying my husband, or maybe letting him down, but over the years I've seen he loves it, like loves it. So did that answer the question?
Oh, I was in my element.
So, okay. Marco loves big crowds. He loves loud noises. He loves stimulation. I like the opposite of that. However, I can appreciate that world. I do still find it sexy. I'm also not a late night person, but getting dressed, getting ready, thinking, do I look sexy? Do I look sexy for my husband? Do I look sexy for other men? Do I look sexy for the other women that are going to be there? That I know, right? Because you love it when the women say, oh, you look so beautiful. And it's very complimentary in the lifestyle. Don't you think? Yeah, we always the good in people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was.
So that night was just a public. It was a public blowjob. You remember little boy came and flirted with you,
on our first experience.
And then you came over to me and you was like, "Oh my God, he's flirting with me."
See, those are missed experiences though, because I was new and I was a little terrified. Like I wanted to experiment, but I was so nervous. So yeah, that was a missed opportunity. But I got to perform for a lot of people, and you got pleasure.
I got a lot of pleasure.
So I would say it was a success.
Yeah, I think it's probably quite typical where in the lifestyle or in the sex positive element of life between couples is there's always one stronger partner that pushes it, pulls back, pushes it, pulls back, and finds that place that you've gone too far and you can pull back and wait another 30 days before saying it. And we actually had. And this is probably a little deeper than you want to go, but we've had over the last 15 years lots of discussions where Angel has said, especially after we tested the waters and tried it, is this a component of your life that you need to have, and that could potentially be a breaking point in our relationship if I decided not to do it? And in the early days, I was very bullish about, yes, it's definitely something that I need to have in my life, and it could affect our relationship if we didn't have it. But because I was younger and more immature and perhaps not as rounded in my own personal happiness, and thought exterior happiness was something that I needed, although I have a beautiful wife and I've always had a wonderful life with her. But now now we've had discussions in probably the last 5 years, which is if we had to stop it, needed to stop it, or I wanted to stop it, is that an issue, or would it be a stepping stone we'd have to have an issue with? And for me now, it wouldn't be. I would be totally okay with stopping it and having enjoyed the ride. But for many years, I was a little bit of almost a bully about it, knowing that her love for me was more important than her need to not do it. And I think all people during the journey into the lifestyle probably go through that, where the dominant person doesn't understand the restrictions on the other person as much as they should. Now, but we've had those deep discussions, and ironically, the podcast came about because we used to live on the ocean, and we had this bed that was raised off the floor a foot or two and looked at the ocean so we could see through the window. And this bedroom that we had was a dream, and we literally had dinner, breakfast, and watched TV. We never left it. Never. It was like a massive super king, and we loved this bed. And anyway, we would sit on this bed, watch TV shows, and we would have these discussions. And none of them are on film because they're all the very first probably 16 or 20 audio tapes that we did. So we would have, they're awful. And we would have these interview discussions where I would be interviewing her, trying to pull out her needs and pull out her desires and pull out.
I cried a couple
the things that she really didn't want to say out loud, but I knew potentially could be there. I felt that were there. Because we've lived together and worked together since the day we met each other, just so you know. So we've only been apart for 5 days since we met each other.
We separated today for like an hour.
To be away from each other's company for more than 3 hours has been very rare in our 15 years of marriage. And 5 days we've spent physically apart, and that's because of an argument that we couldn't resolve. She went to her mum's, or because her mum was sick and she needed to go to her mum to help her.
Yeah, anything like that.
Really. So consequently, we're very used to having these really deep discussions and talks. So one day we were sat on the bed, we'd watched the TV, we'd had a salad or something on the bed, looking at the sun setting. we're having this discussion, and I was like, hang on a minute, we should be recording this for our own historical future. So I said, how would you, do you remember?
Yeah.
And so I said to her, would you care if I just pressed record on my phone? And she said, yeah, I don't care. So we did. And it was like I was interviewing someone for a job.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
The discussion. Actually, the first 15 are like that. And there would be tears, and because I love to pull stuff out of her system. So, right, we did that for the first few years, and that's how the podcast started, right?
Yeah, and then it did get to the point where, because he is a little more dominant, so he said, what do you think about video? Because I think I react to you a lot.
Well, I wanted people to see that you wasn't just crying, you were actually crying with a smile, trying to explore what we were talking. And it wasn't beaten
somewhere.
He wasn't being
not in a
beaten,
good
right?
way.
Because like when you hear it, it sounds
I
like,
know, it's really,
what's the dude doing to her?
Yeah.
And people send us emails, but in reality, visually, if you saw us sitting on this big, beautiful bed, she would be wearing lingerie, we'd be touching and kissing during the chats and holding each other's hand. And I was like, we need to show people that this is actually what's going on instead of it just being and actually, as a caveat to that, I always thought people wanted to know what we look like, what swingers look like.
Also, this guy, if you give him an inch, he takes a mile, and no matter, just so you know, for anything in life ever. So if we were going to do it, why not do it?
I'm blue in my eyes today. Your eyes just became like baby sea blue.
And for me, therapeutically, it's been a great therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, it's the lifestyle, it opens up the conversations that people are so afraid to have. People don't want to admit this stuff out loud. And then especially they don't want to admit their sexual pleasures and sexual fantasies to partners, because what if they reject me? Or what if they think I'm crazy or I'm weird? And it sounds like you guys were just automatically the perfect match for each other, but that communication was just so heightened for you guys because of the lifestyle. And so how did hot wifing get brought in? We are having such a great conversation with our guests today, but we have to take a really quick commercial break. But during this commercial break, it would be a great time for you to like, subscribe, or follow us on all of our social media accounts. By doing this, you get exclusive insider access to specials on merchandise and sexy equipment. Oh, you'll get a glimpse of Dr. Stephanie rocking their fun outfits. So what are you waiting for? So subscribe, like, or follow to evolve your intimacy on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok today. I will see you online. Are you interested in learning more about the topics that we discuss on the show? Head over to ASN Lifestyle Magazine, where you can read all the articles that I publish about relationships, intimacy, and sex. When it comes to the lifestyle and the adult industry magazines, look no further than ASN Lifestyle Magazine. They are the natural go-to for everything lifestyle and adult content. Get your free digital issue today at asnlifestylemagazine.com. And if you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to ask Stephanie. You are listening to the Evolve Your Intimacy podcast, and I'm Dr. Stephanie. Now, let's get back to the show. Before the break, I know that we were talking about communication and hot wifing, and Angel Renee, I think that you had a little bit more to add about communication.
So you are so right. Our level of communication, it skyrocketed when we really started dissecting the lifestyle and what I want and what he wants and our fantasies and our new kinks that we're still learning every week up. So the question was the hot wifing. Hot wifing started because we'd had some experiences, and Marco was like, but I didn't get to watch. I didn't get to see. I was so busy doing whatever I was doing. So I missed the one thing I really cared about. That's what he kept saying.
So I love to see Angel have pleasure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
In food, in drink, in a party, in
shopping.
In shop. I love to watch her get excited, to just be like a little child, like, oh my God, I got a new toy, Like, do you know that pleasure you see in either someone's eyes or in their mouth or their smile? It's a something that somebody has that you just know it's a natural pleasure. It's like a
you
like
call
a
it compersion. I don't know if that goes through the whole spectrum, but
we'd had these experiences with couples, and I would be busy because I get drunk, full of myself, and I'm into my own thing. And then she would be having an experience with a guy from a couple, and then afterwards she'd tell me, and I'd be like, "But I missed all of it. I didn't get to see any of it. Like I literally missed it." And then so I was like, "Okay, let's just be practical about this. How can we have experiences where I get to literally watch her be happy, smile, laugh, look scared, look nervous, be terrified, and all of those elements of the compersion part of life for somebody else. When you're watching somebody else, when you know there's a birthday party that's coming up and they don't know about it, and you know that you know about it, and you see them walk in the door, and it's an explosion of either tears or happiness or both or whatever. So I wanted to experience that. So we just started to talk like we normally do. How can I get to experience that? So we decided, well, perhaps we should just try a single guy. And the first time we did it, I'm going to tell you,
so it was a birthday present. It was his birthday.
It was a gift for me for my birthday present.
Do you need to return that?
Yeah, if we just leave that for about a minute and a half, and then I'll turn it back off.
So it was a birthday gift.
So it was a birthday gift, but for me, my pleasure is the lead up to the experience. So I took a long time. I'm a research analyst. I love to research things.
You didn't expect that to happen, did you?
No, I didn't expect to enjoy the preemptive part as much as the actual experience.
Actually, as much, I think he loves it. And every few days, he's like, "Are you excited about we're doing one again, what, in 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
And so every day, are you excited? Are you excited, baby? What do you, I'm like, oh, yeah. And he knows
just turn
he
makes me
squirm.
I love to make you squirm.
He knows I literally am squirming in my pants because I'm nervous. I'm excited.
I love it. I love it.
I hope we answered your...
Anyway, so the reason how we found hot wifing was we did the very first one as a birthday present to me. She said, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I just came out with it. "I want a threesome." So she was like, "Okay, set it up." So I set it up, and it took about 2 months. I did a background check, a criminal check. I did all those normal checks that I would do for anybody that was going to interact in our life to make sure they were real, not married. There wasn't going to be somebody else involved, all that kind of stuff. We met at the hotel. We had an incredible interaction. Literally, I had to stop them from pouring each other's clothes off in the elevator. When we was in the room, it was over so quick. And
it was way too
watching
but so much fun.
Watching Angel literally enjoy this experience to a 10 just blew me away. So I was like, okay, I enjoyed the interaction of finding the person, interviewing the person, background check, organizing it, the hotel, all of those specifics, and then watching Angel do the physical part. For some reason, it was like watching your child get their first diploma at school. It was amazing. It was wonderful. It was an explosion of emotions for both of us.
Do you want to hear something so interesting?
Go on, I want to hear it.
I didn't actually absorb that process until we were doing we did a little thing at Naughty New Orleans when we got up and we were speakers about hot wifing.
Yeah.
And when Marco was telling everyone that he I'm not sure what I should use, he gets pleasure, he gets his excitement, his kink, if you will. His kink is the setup, is the process, is the that part of it. And I really got it that day. I was like, so it's a light bulb that goes off for me. So now I'm learning how to kind of roll with that too and let him enjoy the process.
Yeah, so we both have two different pleasures.
Are you going to get skinny, or what are you going to smell like?
You have the pleasure of the experience, and I have the pleasure of the setup.
Yeah, well, we both get a lot of pleasure from it for sure.
Yeah, right.
And then talking about it,
and then we talk about it for weeks afterwards, forever. The experience itself is it's almost like taking a drug. And
I want to circle back to something that you said, that in the very beginning, you were sort of more bullyish because you were so over, it's almost like a kid in a candy store. And that is a very, very common thing for women and gentlemen. I shouldn't say it's not like gender specific, for people who enter the lifestyle, because it's all of a sudden it's new, it's novel, it's erotic, and you don't want to stop. And so when she was asking you that, it's not, I'm so thankful that you come back and you're like, yeah, I can see I was being a bully, because some people can't stop oh my gosh, what if I have to stop? I don't want this ever taken away from me. But then as we mature into it and we get some miles under our belt, we're like, okay, this isn't going anywhere, and we can slow down.
I think that's one of the reasons I'm enjoying this new process of educating people, because we look at it as a lifestyle. It's not a diet, it's not a quick fix, it's not a Band-Aid. It's the lifestyle. If you make this a lifestyle and you go slow and you do it right, you can be in it for the rest of your life. Really. Sorry, I have goosebumps, but it's true.
Oh.
And it's very true. And, even recently, we were going hard. We were going to Vegas. We did New Orleans. We did Secrets. We did a couple hot wifing. We did some couples. And then I said, you know what? I need a break. I need 2 months.
So we just took 2 months off.
Yeah. Well, we're going to.
Well, it was meant to be 2. It's been 6 weeks.
So halfway through, I was like, okay, start the process. It's fine. I'm still taking it to that date that I said, but I'm going to give you a whole month to plan. So I think if you go slow, oh no, I think she lost us.
Oh, she froze.
She froze.
Oh, she looks pretty though.
She froze in
She froze in like a perfect little,
she froze
perfect really little face shape, like as if she was modeling.
I feel bad, how when our stuff doesn't work.
Oh, there she is.
I'm so sorry about this terrible connection.
You froze in a model position. You were like, your head was just slanted to the side, we were like, well, with a beautiful smile. It was like you did it on purpose.
Yeah, I love that, because usually it's like,
no, it was a good one. We were like, well, if you're going to freeze, when your mom says, don't make that face.
It was a great face.
So we were just saying about how, the experience, you can do this for a lifetime if you treat it like a lifestyle and not, but also, there's no right or wrong way to do this. And so I have some people who come to me at events and they're like, well, I'm not as much of a swinger as this couple. And I was like, what does that mean to you? Because this couple is a swinger, and whatever you do, it's your lifestyle. You get to design it for it to look anything you want. So if it works for you and your partner, then it works. Call it what you want to call it, but it works. And so there's those degrees that I see ethical non-monogamy on a spectrum, and there's not a right way or a wrong way to do it. And you're not a swinger unless you do this. There's no steps you have to take, but it's a spectrum and we're all on it. It's just, where do you fall on that spectrum?
Totally. I remember when we first started going to Desire, and we started going on vacations, and people would say, how long have you been in the lifestyle? And this was over a decade ago. And I would say to Marco, what does that mean? I don't even know how to answer that. Now I know it's really from the first thought that you have of being open, because it evolves and it goes in so many directions, and it starts and stops. And it's all so acceptable. As long as it's consensual, it's all okay.
Yeah.
Wherever you're at, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think
absolutely. It's got to be consensual.
Yeah, as long as everybody's communicating, both people in the couple are communicating and giving permission for whatever's going on with each other and the others. It's all a communication game. As long as everyone's talking, everyone's giving permission, everyone's saying it's okay, then that's the best lifestyle at whatever level anyone wants to play at is wonderful and so giving and so fulfilling. It's as soon as one person's out of the loop or one person's not a part of the communication, one person's not giving permission and something else is happening.
Yeah.
So, and actually we're just about to do a show on one of the websites that employ us now to actually do some educational programs for them about consent and about consensual non-monogamy.
It's a hot word right now. Consent is a hot word, and it should be, because it's really the only important word. Yeah. Actually, the rest of them are for fun.
Yeah, and consent and that's what we've been giving each other since we began, was that communication of consent has been super important for us.
And I'm making myself a note because I have to, when you said consent, yes, that's a great thing. But one thing that I want to start hitting and start really teaching parents about is how to start teaching your children consent from the very beginning. What does it look like? So I made myself a quick note.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a
sure.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah, from a holding a hand, from a kiss, from a
That's a good
stroke in
one,
the
yeah.
face, touching somebody else within their bubble. Yeah,
I'm going to let you
consent.
tackle that. There's a
Yeah.
lot of weight to that one. But yeah, if you could do,
Can I give you a kiss right there?
I was a young mom, so I mean, I'm not sure how good. Obviously, as I grew, that became a big thing to me. But I was reminded in New Orleans of that consent goes every direction, from women to men. I was very mindful, even in the +1 room, for me to ask consent to the third, even. So there's layers, but it goes in every.
You didn't assume that he was going to allow you to do something.
I was going to do was okay with him without asking, and it's just a good reminder. Yeah.
Consent.
So talk to me a little bit about, because you guys I've interviewed hot wives before, but not anything like you two. Y'all are special.
Oh, really? What's different?
You have this energy, but it's the energy that you are just so loving, and you're so open, and you're so friendly, and you're so knowledgeable. And so there's many people that I've interviewed, and there's sometimes they're like they're snobbish about it. Oh, we do this, right, or we do that, and you guys are not that. You are just so down to earth, and I love every second of
it. I think that comes with. We don't look our age, fortunately, and we put a special thing. Okay. There's actually a big thing in front of us that you can't see.
This is where you can edit.
Yeah. So no, to be serious, for Angel and I, the worst things that we ever imagined could happen in life,
yes, they've happened.
Have happened to us. From the loss of friends, the loss of family, from divorce, from being incredibly wealthy to incredibly poor, together. So. When you go through so many of those things together and you weather them and you realize you're still together, you're still strong, you still have the ability to do what you were doing yesterday, today, as long as you just are mindful and you're positive with each other and loving and communicate, you realize that if the worst happens, tomorrow still happens. It doesn't stop happening. And it's your choice, right? It's your choice how you handle tomorrow.
Yes. And we found that we truly enjoy sharing. So Miami Swing started as our journey into the lifestyle. And there was a moment when I said, do we need to change that from our journey into the lifestyle? Should we change it to our journey in the lifestyle? And I thought, no, because it's still our journey.
Still joining it.
Into the lifestyle, for sure. Yeah. But sharing our story with other people, like, for example, here's a funny little story, because we are super real and honest. We had a huge argument. It was all his fault, 100%.
This is so funny. We had a
huge argument.
Oh my gosh.
And we had a hot wife experience at 5:00 at night with a very handsome guy whose picture I only saw once because I don't do all that. He does it. And he was still pissed. And I'm like, you're not going to get over it, because I know how much you want to do this. So finally I went in there. I said, Marco, go put your big boy pants on. We're going to do this hot wife thing right now. You're going to love it. Get yourself ready. I'll be in the car. And of course, because I knew if he missed it, just because he was being stubborn, that it would be his loss more than mine. Trust me.
So we'd had this argument. So I had slept in the second bedroom in the house because I was pissed. And it was all my fault because I was being a big baby about some stupidness that I can't even remember.
No, I can't remember.
And so I was like, well, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna separate myself because I know that that's gonna hurt you. So that's exactly what I did. Because we work from home, we live in the house, we're never apart. So the only power I have is, because we love each other so much, is disconnecting. So I disconnected, went in the back bedroom. I'm down there watching TV.
I'm looking at my watch going, I'm taking a shower.
I had spent a month setting up this hot wife experience. Very, very nice guy.
Yeah.
Angel Renee didn't know him. So because I do all of that, she just trusts me to make sure that I pick the right person. She never needs to communicate or see them.
You have good,
because she knows I know what she needs, what she wants, or what she likes, and she trusts me. So I'm down there, and I'm also looking at my watch, thinking,
"Oh, you were? I didn't know that."
Like, okay, so it's midday and we're meant to be having sex with some random new person at 5 o'clock in a hotel.
Yes.
That
he just driving all the way here.
That drove 3 hours to come see us.
But anyway,
so I'm like, okay, well, I guess that poor guy's going to be eating pizza on his own tonight. So she opened the door, and I know the look on her face when she means something and she's not playing. Yeah.
Why do you have time to play?
She looked at me and she said, Mark, you can go and put your big boy pants on and you can get yourself ready. Right now, we're going to have our hot wife experience, whether you like it or not. I'll see you at the front door when you're done. So, and then she shut the door and walked away. And I was like, I guess I'm getting ready. So that's exactly what I did. And then I walked out the bedroom in my suit, walked to the front door, and I stood there and waited. She walked out in a beautiful negligee with something over the top. And she said, give me a kiss. I gave her a kiss. We took each other by the hand, got in the car and drove, and we had an incredible time, didn't we? And then we went out and had dinner afterwards.
It was a good time. It was the last of a little era for us, because the end of an era for us, because after that we started making some little rules where I have to wait 20 minutes when I get there.
So she was so excited. She was so excited. She literally ripped the guy's clothes off within 2.5 minutes of getting in the room. The poor guy had no chance of enjoyment.
I felt bad. So we have new rules.
So we made a rule, and we went to a restaurant afterwards, and we was like, okay, that argument was stupid. Did you have a good time? I had a good time. You had a good time, and we had a great night, like we always do. You know, it takes 30 seconds to get over stupidness, and it really doesn't mean anything. So whilst we were sat in this restaurant afterwards, I said, so how did you like it? And she said, well, it went a little quick. I felt like it was an explosion of sex and everything. And I said, yeah. She said, new rule, we have to take 20 minutes minimum foreplay with a new partner.
I started with 30, but I knew that wasn't doable.
Before I'm allowed to make him put a condom on. So I said, that's probably a really good idea. And then I get a chance to watch and actually experience more. So
we've gone a little slower.
So we decided then that we don't have rules, just so you know.
Let's just remind everyone that this is Evolve Your Intimacy, and I am Dr. Stephanie from Evolve Your Intimacy. We are having an amazing discussion, but we need to take a quick break, so stay right there and we'll be right back. Are you ready for a relationship that's sizzling hot? Evolve Your Intimacy is here to light that fire. If you've hit a few bumps in your swinging journey, fear not. Our expert counselors and coach are masters at helping couples navigate the swinging lifestyle with finesse and passion. Whether you're curious about swinging or you're ready to take it to the next level, we've got your back. So leave those roadblocks behind and get ready for a wild ride. At Evolve Your Intimacy, we believe in uncovering new desires and exploring together. Our dedicated counselors and coaches will guide you every step of the way, ensuring that your swinging experience is pleasurable, exciting, and oh so memorable. Ready to ignite that passion? Visit Evolve Your Intimacy today and let us unlock the incredible adventure that awaits you and your partner. Get ready to swing with confidence and absolute bliss. Evolve Your Intimacy, where passion meets transformation. Trust me, your relationship will never be the same again in the best possible way. Reach out today. I'm Dr. Stephanie from Evolve Your Intimacy. You are listening to the Evolve Your Intimacy podcast, and I'm Dr. Stephanie. Now, let's get back to the show.
Well, speaking of that, maybe it's not rules, but can you share with the listeners the do's and don'ts? Maybe how you guys manage the hot wifing situation?
Yeah,
our motto is stay together, play together. There are so many hot wife scenarios, you know. People split up. Girls go on dates. That's all fine. It's all great if that's what they do. We never separate, ever. We're together.
We do sex play the same as we do life play because it works for us. So we never separate during any play experience.
That's really our only...
And that's really our only rule. We really don't have any rules except for no.
You got to wear a condom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
condom
I don't know one day if we decide to all get tested and do all that whole thing, but I feel like right now we just play it safe. Oh, we always play it safe.
Yeah. So ours 100%. Is play together, stay together. If one person says it's ended, it's ended.
Yes.
We don't argue the fact. We don't discuss the fact. If one person puts their hand up and say, it's time to go.
Yeah, during hot wife experiences, I never need to take 5. Sometimes during swinger things or events, many times I'll say I need to take 5. I need a moment. But with the hot wife thing,
because there's a lot more people and stimulation in those kind of.
This is true. Yeah.
And actually, we trust each other to make a decision for the other person and don't ever correct the other person during play. We just take it as that is. Angel will say we go at the slowest speed of anybody in play. So whoever says it's time to stop, everybody just stops. And we really have we've never, not once in all the years, had one bad lifestyle or play experience.
We've never had.
Is she still with us?
Yeah. No.
She's gone.
Oh, poor thing.
Oh, look, but she looks so pretty when she does that.
Actually,
you should take a picture and send it to her. Take a picture and send it to her to see how nice she looks. Oh, she went.
Poor thing, she's going to be stressed. I would be stressed. I would be.
Of course.
So I wonder who puts all her, she must do it all herself. But you're right. No, listen, I've never had a bad experience.
That assistant does all of her editing.
Yeah, I've never had a bad
that's what I wanted to express to her. So I'm quite sure the assistant does all the editing.
And even our swinging things that have gone wrong, they've been kind of funny later. They haven't gone wrong, like when I lock myself in my bathroom.
Oh my God! Yeah, should we tell?
Or the guy that sped off.
So again, you had a beautiful look when you froze.
I went to take a picture for you.
We went to take a photograph. So we were just talking about, I was just saying that we've never had a bad lifestyle experience or swinger experience, the hot wife experience in all the years we've been doing it. But then Angel.
We've had some funny, ridiculous and funny things, maybe that weren't sexy, but
just because of my research prior to any play with any couple, it's meant that I've already know. I do rules and regulations prior to play with people by text, and it gives everybody an outline of exactly what's going to happen. And I've been doing that ever since we started. It's just in my nature to over plan, over prepare, and if people have a hard time with it, they just tend to say, "Oh, that's just Mark's personality," and I'm sure he's doing it for whatever reasons he has, and let's just roll with it. But we did have an experience with some really good friends where we did parallel play. We didn't do a foursome; it was parallel play.
This was years
ago,
before the video, but during the podcast, but not the video.
And so, Angel, so we were having sex with each other's with each other. Next to another couple that were having sex with each other. Now, mind, they were friends of ours. They were good friends. I shouldn't have done it. So Angel Renee, I could see her look across at this couple, and he was banging away really aggressively. I know, like it was aggressive. It was like hard sex, like bam, bam, bam. We're very sexually. Go slow, have a little bit more rhythm, a little bit more touching, a bit more kissing. We're not bam, bam kind of people. So Angel and I saw her look across, and I was like, "Oh dear!" It was like watching a car wreck. So she ran. She got up. She ran in the bathroom. She'd had a lot of wine. Locked the door so I got up, walked to the bathroom. I said, "Hey, honey, are you okay? You've been in there a few minutes." She said, "I'm not coming out." So I was like, "Oh dear." So I walked into the bedroom, and of course our friends were like, "What's going on? What's going on, Mark?"
I tried to tell everybody I'm okay. I just want.
So of course now there's 3 of us naked people standing outside the bathroom, hot and sweaty from sex, and they're like, "Oh, is she okay? Is she okay?" And Angel's like, I'm fine. Just I'll be fine." So of course, because we'd all been out on the balcony looking at the ocean, drinking whiskey, drinking champagne and wine, whole kind of craziness. Was that my birthday? That we went to the Hard Rock Hotel.
Wait,
with Alan. Anyway, so it was a night of drinking and fun, and so now we're standing outside because we all love her because they were friends.
No, they're nice people,
and we were like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" So they stayed another 45 minutes until she finally came out. We sat out in the lounge and had a drink. Ironically, they're actually. Oh no, they're in our top 3 of best friends in life. They would be one of the people that you would call in a dire emergency for us. So ironically, that was probably our worst sex experience.
Some funny stuff, but
with another couple. But They ended up being our best friends. So what are you going to do about that?
I like sharing
Do you
these stories
remember?
because I remember when I was new to it, and I think I assumed that everything was perfect. Everyone knew what they were doing. I was the only one that didn't know things or didn't understand. And you can, all the acronyms now and all this stuff going on. I was like, I don't know anything. But I like sharing the stories because if I maybe had heard someone telling these stories, I think I would be like, okay, this is like real life.
It's real life.
Just real life
It's
stuff.
real. Yeah.
Yeah. I did. Yeah. Very first experience. I was in the bathroom crying and I was like, I just can't do this. I'm just not cut out for it.
And that's okay though, because your mind gets overload.
Did they all stand outside and knock on the door and say, "You okay, honey?"
Yes. Yes. And then they all came in and were hugging me and I was like, this is just so uncomfortable. But
it is. It is.
It
And
happened.
then you get over it, right? And you're like, whatever. It was a moment in time. And most people you probably find too in the lifestyle are very okay. They're okay with it,
Oh God,
They just want to be happy, even if nobody plays. Order pizza,
Ironically,
that's fine,
the only other funny experience I can think of, they're actually our best friends, and I just spoke to them about an hour ago online, and so did you. So we was in this club. We were in a swinger event, and this guy kept on coming up to Angel Renee trying to kiss her, and every time he would try to kiss her, but without consent.
Oh my God!
Without consent,
she
would do this
the Matrix
like the Matrix
I have
move, where
really
her
good
head would
abs.
go back.
So if someone comes to kiss me, I literally would lean back
without permission. So I kept on saying to the guy, "Hey, listen, she might kiss you, but you got to ask permission."
You can't do that.
So he was having fun and being goofy. So she kept on doing that, and he kept on doing it. Ironically, they're our second best friend. I just spoke to him an hour ago.
Like mangoes and butter.
Anyway, I'm sure you have lots of little silly experiences like that, right?
Yeah, we're doing.
But I want to finish that. So you lean back.
The Matrix. You know the Matrix where the guy leans back?
I don't like to be kissed without first seeing it coming or someone, which is interesting because these are the most respectful people and the nicest people, and they have become very, very good friends. I mean, we do communicate with them a lot today, every day. So
how many years ago was this? Probably 6-7 years ago?
This was in Fort Lauderdale at a meet, and I think it was an
SDC meet and greet.
I think.
About 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
Oh gosh, it had to have been.
And we probably talk to them every day. Still.
I love our lifestyle friends are so amazing. I'm sure you feel the same way. Yeah.
They are. They're my very best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours too. Ours too. And those that we've had weird experiences with,
Sometimes
if you can get through that with somebody naked or in a bed or in a playroom, I mean, there's no more barriers. There's no other barriers that you need to get through to have a relationship with those people, because it happened, you got over it, and you all hugged and got a drink and said, well, that was what it was. What should we do next? And a lot of people, if they realize that sex can be just a sexual, pleasurable, fun, organic experience. It doesn't have to be love. And actually, that's one of the biggest things we spoke of for the first 5 or 6 years in our marriage was sex doesn't have to equal love. It doesn't have to be love play. It can be play, right? We had a lot of those.
It used to be a running joke in our house. Sex is love. Sex is love. When I was like still figuring out where I fit in. But no, sex is not love.
I mean, it can be. It can be an expression of love.
It can be
but it's not a dominating moment of love. That's holding hands.
Sex and love.
There's so many other things that equal love, but I think the world sees sex as love and has a hard time separating.
We do still. Is that what it is? It's still going on.
I mean, I wish I had a T-shirt that sex could be love, can be love, but isn't always love. Because I think there's a definite connection there when someone knows you're a swinger and you're having sex with somebody else. Somebody else's penis is going in her vagina and my penis is going into somebody else's vagina. I think they automatically attribute that to we're no longer in love, or we're no longer a cohesive, strong, connected, indented couple, when we are more than most. But I think people have this natural reaction to say, well, they must not love each other, or that they must not be a strong partnership. Don't you think? I mean, you used to in the early days.
She's nodding her head, so I'm thinking she's agreeing with you.
What about you?
I don't know. Really? Yeah.
Sex is not love now, but at what point did you realize that sex was not love?
I don't know, but there was a moment that it totally like hit me, like that light switch went off. It was definitely when we were on the other coast in one of the condos, and because I remember it was a shift in feeling where I was like, oh, it was almost like, oh, sex isn't love. And of course, he'd been saying that all this time, but I just didn't believe it. And then I don't remember what the.
You don't remember?
I know. I don't remember.
Was it a handsome guy with dark curly hair and powder blue eyes?
No, I don't know. but bring him. But bring him back.
No, did you hear that? She's like, "Could you bring him back?"
Yeah, let's bring it back. So I have a question. What is this mangoes before sex?
Oh, where'd you hear that? Where'd you hear that from?
Did you say it?
Yeah, Did you say it?
You know what mangoes before sex is?
Well, of course.
It's actually not mangoes before sex, by the way. It's
I eat mangoes. So it tastes delicious because.
You need to expand on that.
Well, I'm vegan. I'm very careful with what I eat, so I have a very interesting diet. But so I feel like whatever I sort of consume,
I love it,
is consumed by
others.
Oh my God, I never needed any trouble.
So this is a really interesting
if he sees
phenomenon.
me buying mangoes at the store,
I know what's happened.
Oh, yeah,
so
I'm getting ready.
Angel realized that she really likes having her pussy.
Well, are we going to say okay? Yeah, is there?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So Angel realized a long time, not a long time ago, but several years ago, that she used to always be guarded.
Yes.
Guarded about having her pussy licked.
Is it okay? Is it perfect?
And actually, at that birthday gift that she gave me at the hotel with our first hot wife experience, that was dedicated hot wife.
May have opened up that whole can of worms.
This guy went down on her so amazingly, and she had just eaten a bunch of mangoes, by the way. And she was like, after the date, when the guy left, she was like, that was amazing.
Well, so
I love that.
Had a beard.
I love that. She was
like a nice, soft but full beard. Do I even need to say anymore? It was amazing. I'll never, and that was a long time ago, and I never get that out.
So then, we had this discussion that every time she eats mangoes, her pussy actually tastes like mangoes.
Oh,
it tastes like the secretion is sweet, and much more moist, and it has a mango, not a mango taste, but it's a lot sweeter because of the fruit.
Notes of mango.
Yes.
You know when you eat sugar, and this is a natural sugar in your body, and it because she's vegan, she smells or tastes like what she eats. And ironically, she eats a very, very fine-tuned diet. So she actually smells and tastes like that diet. There's not many food types that she actually eats. So we realized that when she ate mangoes before a date, like guys would not come out. They would be down there forever because it was like Candyland. Who doesn't want to?
I'm blushing.
Who doesn't want to lick a mango for 20 minutes?
Yeah, this is true.
And literally, they would go down, and I would be like, okay.
Yeah, well, I was
at some point, someone's going to come up for air, and we can all get on to the next point. So we realized that the mangoes were definitely...
And then it became a thing, yeah.
So when we go to the store, if I see her picking a mango up, I know what she wants.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
She's saying it's time to get down and you need
mango time.
You need to eat something.
Adding mangoes to my grocery list.
Yes, and the problem is, ironically, if you have mangoes with a sandwich or mangoes with something else, doesn't work. Angel Renee's diet is so particular.
No, she's going to try it.
Just eat mangoes one day. The next day, you will not be able to get whoever it is that's playing with you out from that space. They will stay there forever.
Well, I'm getting them. It's on my grocery list for today.
It's true though. It's so true. It was incredible.
Give that a try for tomorrow.
Yeah. Now, if you're having a date with someone that just won't leave you alone, eat an onion.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
No onions on that one.
No onions.
Tell my listeners how they can find y'all.
Well, they can find us at miamiswings.com. They can find us on Instagram, Miami Swings Podcast. They can email us at miamiswings@yahoo.com. They can find us on Facebook at miamiswings.com or at Miami Swings. But miamiswings.com, you can check all the messages.
Yeah, and I'm a terrible responder. So really, just
follow us on Miami Swings.
And ironically, unfortunately for us, because we are quite we don't know how to not say stuff and edit ourselves properly. YouTube has started taking down our videos, and we only have one strike left before we lose our YouTube channel, which I always thought was one of was such a great advocacy for the lifestyle, because they're able to see what a swinger looks like as well as hear what a swinger looks like, because we always have these, swingers for years have been on the radio or on iTunes or all of these different radio stations. And for years I always thought, well, what does a swinger look like? It's like, what does a because
even the mannerisms, the way they move, the way they look.
I mean, are they tall? Are they short? Do they have beards? Are they blonde? Are they brunette? Like, you hear a voice and you always want to image something to the voice, and your mind can go all kinds of places. So for us to have the YouTube channel, I thought was very powerful for people to hear the podcast on iTunes, hear that we're on YouTube, go to YouTube, see us in real life, see that we look regular, and go, okay, they're regular folk. We could possibly be regular like them too.
Hopefully I will get to see you guys soon. I'm not sure when or where, but I know that we'll probably cross paths again.
Our community is small, right? Our community is smaller than most communities. So everybody does get to meet. This has been wonderful. Fun. I'm so sorry that we took all the questions and we didn't ask you any questions. I wasn't quite sure how the format was going to go. But next time, you guarantee we're going to have a lot of questions.
Maybe could we have Dr. Stephanie on our show?
Maybe that would be a fantastic idea.
Could we do that? How could we? Because I know you're not even in our time zone. So could we put you perhaps even on this Zoom like this and do it like that? Could it work? Okay. Let's put it on the books to do. Sounds good? Okay.
You single?
He's ready to start kissing, so thank you. We all be kissing.
We're all kissing.
Although I didn't eat a mango yesterday, so kissing it is.
When you come to visit, I'm going to send you 5 mangoes and I'll get her 5
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, we're in where we are. So nice to see you again. Thank you for everything.
Have an incredible afternoon, and thank you for chatting with us.
Bye, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to listen to my show. I am Dr. Stephanie with Evolve Your Intimacy, and remember, you are not in this alone, and we are definitely here to help. You can learn more about all the amazing things that we do at evolveyourintimacy.com, and if you subscribe to our newsletter, you will receive free resources monthly to help you evolve your intimacy. Thank you again, and have a great night.